Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first episode of the Acolyte review. Actually, the first two episodes of the Acolyte review. I'm the Clown Prince of Twins, Trasnell, and I'm joined by...
Where am I? Kirkland Panzer. I'm here at the Acolyte review. So yeah, that's my name.
I'm Pip Taylorfield.
Do we got any stars? We don't even have... I thought we used to have...
I thought we had a Star
Wars.
Wars
Let's just go with the
one.
Mando for now and do that. So that's what we got for now. Looks nice enough. So you don't like the Mando?
This
back
Star
there?
Wars bridge.
Oh, that's nice.
Taylor did this one for us.
Yeah, but that's Empire, you know?
That's what this is the dark side.
No,
of
it's
the
not.
Force,
Thank
right?
God.
This
We're
whole
out
show.
of the dark times. This is so exciting. So this is, ladies and gentlemen, we'll do some plugs in the little bit later, but we thank you very much for tuning in. This is a show that has been, I think, anticipated by us for a long, long time because I think we all had different touchstones to it, but I think we're all big fans of darker stuff in Star Wars, but just that the old Republic era, whether it's the books, whether it's the games, etc. I feel like we were big fans. So back in 2020 when COVID was happening and they had that Investors Day and they announced, the Acolyte, it's going to be this dark, sideshow. Maybe it's not exactly what they pitched, but it is still something that hopefully it's going to dive in that. We'll see. We'll talk about this in the review, but it's been one we've been anticipating. We've lost Rogue Squadron. We've lost a Ryan Johnson trilogy.
Rogue Squadron's not officially...
We've lost a Rogue Squadron. We've lost probably a Taika Waititi movie. We've lost lots of things. So we thought, this is probably something that, check out our newscast. We're probably losing the Sean Levy's Star Wars movie because he's going to do Avengers 5. Tons of stuff going on. But I think at some points we did think, this could be... there's some trouble there, but no, they filmed it, they did it, and here we are. So as usual, we're going to talk about the non-spoilers. So if you haven't got a chance to see an episode or both of them, we will talk about 15-20 minutes of just our overall thoughts, likes and dislikes, and then we will do a little break, and then we'll get into spoilers. So if you have to check it out later, it's right there in the feed. So I'm going to throw to Mr. Patzer himself. He's talked about many times being a big dark side user or big dark side fan. Maybe dark side user. Yeah, maybe all those clones, but so you're a big fan of Dark Side. Were you a big fan of this show, The Acolyte, episodes 1 and 2? It was what? Was it Dark and Light? One was Revenge and Justice, and was first episode Dark and Light or whatever it was?
I did not see the first.
Or was it Revenge? No, Revenge and Justice.
Revenge was the second one.
It was Revenge. Okay, Revenge and Justice, and then I forgot what I had the other one. What was it?
I normally have the episodes up.
Either way, all the episode titles are like a bounce, right? It's like Revenge, Justice. I'll figure that out after. But what did you think so far? Non-spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long journey to get to this point from the first announcement. And here we are with the 2-episode premiere. And I was definitely feeling the bug for Lost Found. Thank you. So that was the title of the first episode, Lost and Found.
Okay, and again, to just start with we've talked a little bit about this today, the butthurt fans on IMDb, these episodes are 5.7 out of 10. Like, it's not even been out, that long. Same thing, like, even before the show came out today on Rotten Tomatoes, it was like audience score 48%. Like, it was at like 3 p.m. to, like, no one's seen the show, but you can, oh man, there's a female lead, my God. Here we go. It's going to destroy Star Wars. Anyways, continue.
Is it going to destroy Star Wars? We'll see. So, So I felt the bug, the excitement leading into this, and I feel like it was a nice breath of fresh air, like jumping into it. I, preface by saying I haven't seen Ahsoka, so I haven't seen all of the Star Wars shows on here. But this one, there was something that felt a little bit different from the ones that I've seen in the past. Most of them have been all right to meh to fantastic, and fantastic being Andor for me. I think that's my favorite Star Wars show that I've seen, and that's probably one of my favorite Disney Plus shows actually to this day. I still hold that thought pretty high up in my heart. Andor's fantastic, and so far this show is not Andor for me, but it's also not like the worst of the worst that I have seen. Maybe some moments of like Mando season 3.
Oh yeah.
Jeez, what else is...
I'd say some stuff in Obi-Wan, not overall,
Obi-Wan,
but there's some stuff has some
100%,
bad Star Wars. And I was going to say, though, not to like put thoughts in your mind, I don't think we thought, because we got the first 3 episodes of Andor, I don't think we thought it was the greatest after those first 3, right? I'm not saying this is going to do that, but I think we were like, there's potential there, but I feel like we had maybe some minor issues or stuff, but that wasn't like till the end, we're like, holy shit, this show is something real good,
No, exactly. And I remember thinking on the 3-episode release of Andor, it's like, oh, it's good. It's releasing in chunks. Like this is pretty slow. I don't know if I would have been able to like stay up for midnight to watch this one episode. But I think these first 2 episodes have enough to really like get you interested. I like the character introductions. I like just kind of seeing this Star Wars universe that's separated from the other main timeline stuff that we're just used to seeing.
No dark era,
time.
no Skywalkers.
No Skywalkers.
What we've been living in
exactly.
since the Disney era,
Yeah, no, exactly. So that's been kind of nice. I think by the second episode, I was starting to see maybe some like minor glimpses of not necessarily like previous shows like that are Star Wars, but maybe just like certain moments that are from even the Skywalker saga that it wasn't like, oh, this is going to be terrible. It was just like, this doesn't feel as new and exciting as maybe I was hoping for it to be, especially that it is like 100 years separate from those other timelines. I mean, the more I got to think about it, it's like it is only 100 years, right? Like,
isn't it 200? I think
100.
Is it only 100? I feel like that timeline kept going down. I feel like it was multiple hundreds years, and it was 200. And then when we got to the show, it's like, it's just 100, and you're probably gonna see Palpatine at some point, or who the fuck it Plagueis,
It's funny because I feel like when we first saw the title of Acolyte, I would have assumed it was something like that, like thousands of years beforehand. And until I read it on the very first episode that it was just 100 years, in my mind, I don't know why, I had like 250 years, like some weird number like that.
I thought 200 was out there at one point. But again, sometimes it's tough what's news and what's like the scoops we cover, right, or like rumors.
True,
so that could be it. So, and I do think this is like a testing ground to see. I think if this does well, not even critically, just viewership wise, it could be like, oh, we can go further back. I think this is at least some dip in their like you can go 100 years back, but like that's about it. Don't go any further than that.
And like on that note, I feel like I was really hoping that we were just going cannonballing into the deep end by like a 500-year plus time, like 1,000 years even. Like I really wanted to be separate. It does make sense why they wouldn't do that off the hop, like you said, it being kind of a testing ground.
It's never been done before, right?
It does have that feel because we're introduced to obviously new characters that haven't been around and certain maybe dynamics amongst like factions, Jedi being one of them. It feels pretty close to how it was, I think, in especially like the prequel era, but absolutely, I don't know. I haven't read the High Republic or anything. Is that in this era? You'll have to remind me.
This is the tail end of it, right, Taylor? I'd say, right?
It's the very end of the High Republic.
Yeah, so a lot of those robes you're seeing, and a lot of them being very like Jedis are always have that almost better than you type of vibe. At times they're just very high, but I feel like in the prequels they start to lose that and get a bit more grittier because of the war. So it definitely feels like it to me is and I actually think it's a combo of the prequel era and the High Republic era. Of they're still holding on to being these very empowered masters. Everyone respects them, fears them in a sense, but now like there's some grit happening because obviously there's some tomfoolery going around with some maybe dark side stuff. So
so I think like the way that the Jedi were carrying themselves was new to me from what I've experienced in the past, which I did like. I think just maybe I don't even know the best way to say this. Like the protagonist is not as like evil as maybe I was like hoping it to be coming into it.
Yeah, I think they walked that one back
obviously avoid spoilers, but I don't know. Like watching these first 2 episodes, it makes me think of like maybe I just won't ever get like my ideal like dark side centered show, and like we can discuss that more when we get to spoilers, or maybe even just like further down the line on this is only two episodes that are out right now. Maybe they do kind of go there later on, but
episode 3.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
I think I think it's like the tipping of the toes, right? Because I remember a long time ago when Mandalorian was coming out, and Star Wars Celebration was the first season, and they had these banners, and they had the heroes on one side and the villains on another side.
You're right, yeah.
And remember, Mando was on the villain side, so it's like for me, their villains are very like like this is the like. This is as far as we're willing to go right now. Because even Marvel, like everyone always brings up Loki, which he was a villain, but the whole show is about redeeming him, right? So it's like it really became an anti-hero. So both Marvel and Star Wars really haven't been like, here's your Victor Von Doom series where he's a guy that turns into a super villain. And who knows? Like we said, this show could be that. But I think same thing. They have to maybe see even now like a older show and a show that's like trying to make it seem more dark side. How does that do? Because maybe viewers are like, I don't want this from Star Wars, right? Maybe they want the cookie cutter heroes like Luke and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want the dark side like us weirdos do, us sickos.
Sickos. And like you could do a dark side centered show and not just it be like them torturing people, murdering people. Like I, you do want to feel good about what you're watching.
Of course,
but
yeah.
you can do that with just good character telling. And I think I got glimpses of that for sure in these first 2 episodes. Obviously, I can't really judge it as a whole right now because we just kind of got introduced to these characters. But I mean, yeah, I'll just kind of save it there. I feel like I'm gonna accidentally start getting spoilery here, so I'll just say as of right now, first 2 episodes, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Although I'm maybe, yeah, I don't even want to say it. Actually, I'll just save it for spoiler section. But I am liking what I'm seeing, and I am kind of hopeful. But I think I'm nowhere near as high as I maybe potentially thought I could be. And this is like maybe thinking back, way back when we first saw the Acolyte title. Like when I first saw that title, I thought on this review it's just be like, this show is something that I've just been wanting for like since I first picked up some of those like old Republic books, that are like predating like legend, or I guess they're legends now, but just all like that type of Star Wars story I was hoping to get from this first viewing, and that's really not what I think I'm gonna get from this show.
No.
But maybe we'll see.
You never know. I always hope with these shows, they never do them, but I always hope they do like one-off episodes like some longer shows do, and you get just the villains or some dark side stuff. But to me, it sounds like you went to the restaurant wanting a certain meal and it wasn't there, and what you got was still good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't still wasn't the meal you showed up for, right? You're like, oh yeah, this worked. You weren't like, oh, they didn't have my thing, it was gross. But yeah, and
They had a Royale with cheese though. It was all right.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'll go because I'll leave Mr. Star Wars there for last. So, yeah, I think I'm. Where am I on this one? I think overall I liked it. I did like it. That's not a thing. I don't think anything blew me away, but to me, this is my hope. Is like if the show's like least quality is these 2 episodes, I'm happy with that. Like even if the rest episodes are like this, I think because just the generalization of I do just enjoy being back in the prequel era or era that's not the dark times or Skywalker. And I've been saying this since like, I don't know, probably 2016. Like I feel like I've been beating this drum for a long time, and many other people have been, but I'm just so done with the dark era, right? It's just such a boring time for me. We've just like kind of just hoarded out, and we've explored so much stuff to the point where it's like we explore things that shouldn't have happened there, and you get stuff like Boba Fett. But I digress. We have reviews. I should have shout out. We've reviewed everything Star Wars. Go check it out. So I like that. I've always said I want to return to the prequel era just in projects I like more, which I like this where I do like the High Republic and I like things about the prequels. So I like that we're getting certain aesthetics back, we're getting certain alien types back. So it feels like a nostalgia in a different way, because like the original trilogy had nostalgia, but this is more like later nostalgia for me because I'm a bit older than you guys. So it's just, that's been fun to see. And I do wonder, I think the show overall is like it's a thumbs up right now. I'm still wanting to see what happens next. I think both ending for episodes kind of suck. I think especially for episode 2.
I was like surprised. I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's the end of the first one.
Episode 1 you show off something and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's the magic trick. But then number 2 is just like, oh, that's really it. And I feel like Star Wars sometimes has an issue with that. And I don't even think this is like the best episode 1. Like as much as we had problems with Obi-Wan, I think we all agreed like those first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan, those were killer episodes. And we were like, man, this is going to be great. Andor, looking back on it, had a good premiere. I think Mando had a better premiere. So I think there's ones that are better, but overall I'm liking the characters so far. I'm liking the atmosphere. It is very kind of just, I won't say paint by numbers. I'll say above average detective tale sort of stuff. Like it's not True Detective or Silence of the Lambs, but I do enjoy this. Like me and Taylor read Master and Apprentice. We really like that. I liked in Phantom of the Menace when Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are just going around, looking into things, talking to people. Like I like when Jedis do that. And we didn't get that in, I don't think the original or sequel trilogy, right? Like Rey is never a investigator. Luke's not an investigator. So I like the Jedis being like these big time space cops in a sense, even higher than. So I like, even if it is just kind of, a basic Law and Order type of procedural, like I'm liking that with the aesthetic of Jedi. I think the thing that brings it up for me are the 2 actors. I got to get the names of both of them. Did I really close IMDb? I thought I had it, but Amanda Steiberg, is that what it is? I know it's not Amanda, it's something else, but Let me go here. Da, 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 da. Either way, I like a lot of the other actors. There's one character so far I'm not really digging, but at the same time, it's almost like you're not supposed to. But so Amanda Steinberg, who was fucking really, really good in Bodies. She's somebody that, and I think I saw her in something else too, but she was really good in that. So when they announced her for this, I was excited. And she has a lot to do in this show, and so far I like that. And then the other guy from Squid Game, Lee Jun-jae, who plays Master Soul. Man, this to me feels like a domesticated Qui-Gon. Like if Qui-Gon got in line with the council, where in Phantom Menace he's always pushing and going against him. This felt like I'm more like, all right, but there's certain times he just says something. I see that look in his eye. I'm like, oh, him and Qui-Gon would have a great beer, maybe go out in town, have a good night. But I like the other
death stick.
Yeah, I like the other characters, but I think specific, and even these two characters, I do enjoy them. But I think it's the performances that are bringing them up to me. I think this is a case of the actors are elevating the material, and already I am invested in their connection and their relationship. So even just that, everything else is good. That's the thing that I'm like, oh, I want to see how this plays out, because again, the new trilogy, the original trilogy, even you don't play that, like, again, it's the prequels. You don't get to play that much with the master apprentice dynamic, right? Obi-Wan trains Luke for like a day, he's dead. Rey has like 6 different masters and they're all in one different movie here or there. Like, I love the idea of this connection. There you go. It's a minus where there's a master apprentice sort of connection there, but you'll get that in the first 10 minutes of show. So far it's a thumbs up. I'm liking it. I have some not issues. I don't really have, that's good thing. I don't think I have issues. There's just things that I'm like meh about. There's nothing that I think, oh man, they really screwed up here. There's like one scene where like a Jedi's half naked that I'm like, well, that was kind of weird. Like, I don't know why we did that. Like, they're going for like a sort of humor joke with it. And
we've gotten that before, though. I mean, with Kylo.
But that wasn't like that. That was different, because that was like Rey and Kylo are starting to like each other. She's seeing him naked. They're centralizing the male instead of the female. Like, I feel like no, this is like, oh, I'm so sorry. You won't see my nipples again. Like, it was just
episode 4. Giddy up, cowboy.
Cock wide out, just full on orgy. But so yeah, I have like nitpicks, but nothing major. But other than the apprentice and master connection, I also don't have anything major praise. I think some of the props, some of the sets look good, some don't. I think a lot of the aliens look really good actually this go around, some good practical ones. I think the action is good for the most part. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about almost like a John Wick Matrix kung fu type of style action, but the way I've kind of headcanon it is I'm kind of fine with that, because in the prequels they fight, I always say, like a dance, right? In the original trilogy, it's a very slow, like, jesting. In the new trilogy, it's kind of a mix between the two. So I could kind of believe that, okay, maybe 100 years before the Phantom Menace, that was the Jedi's fight style, right? Was it maybe more hand-to-hand combat? They didn't want to use their lightsabers, so there's a few things there. So overall, I'm enjoying it, and I'm excited to see next week. So yeah, it's to me a good start, and I'm liking it, and I'm really excited. I hope it can just, again, at least stay this pace. I don't know if it's going to be a show that people are going to be jumping to if you're not a Star Wars fans, but I think if you're like a sane Star Wars fan, this is a good step in the right direction. So, but who knows? Cut to episode 3, cut to episode whatever. I think how many episodes is there? There's 8. Okay, there's 8 episodes. So there we go. Mr. Field, what is your thoughts on this?
I love it. I really, really do. I think it's a good time. I think it's got aspects that I've been craving and really wanting to see for a good long minute, and I see people just leading up to where we are now with this release. I've just been seeing online the comments, people just shit talking and trash talking this show, and they haven't even seen it. And I'm happy that other people are like, you know what, they voiced it like, oh, you haven't even seen it, and the other people are like, I don't even have Disney Plus, but I hate this. It's stupid Star Wars, whatever. And people are like, well, why even commenting? People are just going.
Well, they just
live
don't have
it.
any lives at that point.
But you know what? I think, yes, Disney has definitely. It's not been smooth sailing for them since they acquired Star Wars.
Oh wow!
I will just put that out there. I know bold.
Say that, yeah.
But take it for what it is. At least they've really been trying to put out a variety of different things. While a huge portion of that really does focus on the dark times that you very much hate, Travis, and I totally understand that. But they are putting out things that we've been able to kind of explore different storylines, explore different characters a little bit more, and expand on things. I mean, there's one point like, no, we weren't getting any more Star Wars. That's it. And I'm not saying, like, for me as a fan that the whole franchise is being diluted. I'm not getting that at all because I eat everything up. I'm loving it. And there's some things that I like more than others, sure. And there's other things like, I'm not like craving this kind of Star Wars. I'll leave that. There's things that I can pick and I can rewatch again and again and again. And that's fine. And I think any fan can do that. You don't have to go and rewatch Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi, Force Awakens if you don't want to. And for me, like I'll put them on once in a while, but I'm usually always going back to Empire. I'm always going back to Revenge of the Sith. Like those are the ones like Rogue One. Those are ones that really stand out to me, and I'll go back to that because there's always gonna be now so much Star Wars content that people can pick the things that they like and they can enjoy it and watch it. It doesn't have to be everyone just this, that, and like this show is wonderful because we're getting something that me as a fan has just been craving for a very long time. That's to have a ton of Jedi on screen. Yes. And it's been really satisfying so far. These first 2 episodes have delivered in that regard. I like what you said, Travis, about how Master Soul is just kind of this different interpretation of Qui-Gon. If Qui-Gon was along a different path, I like that. And I like how each Jedi we've seen so far has portrayed their own unique characteristics. And I like that is kind of transitions into the way they fight and just the way that they handle different situations. I really like that. And I think that's very, very well done when it comes to Jedi, because every Jedi is so unique. And that's something that we learn in the High Republic novels. It's something we learn even in Master Apprentice when you're dealing with that dynamic between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, that every character, every Jedi is very unique, and they have that tension between them and their master sometimes, and it's just a very unique relationship. And so to explore the individual Jedi is so wonderful. That's something we didn't get enough of in the prequel films. You got the blunt, I don't trust him, Mace Windu. We got the classic Yoda, and we got Obi-Wan and Anakin, and then we got all the other Jedi in the background for our viewing pleasure. That's it. But
Palpatine just slaughtered.
Palpatine, yeah. So we didn't get enough of that dynamic of each Jedi's kind of personality and their mindsets and the way they are and how that reflects themselves. So this show is just diving into that. I appreciate that. I love it very, very much. And getting this kind of storyline focusing on this female lead, I really was trying to figure out, okay, what are they going to do here? How are they going to take on this story? But I was able to pick up right away what they were going for, and I thought, okay, this is really, really cool. There were a couple twists and surprises that I was not expecting. Like, okay, this is really neat, and now we're getting into some new uncharted ground here. And the way they ended the episodes, totally agree. Not a fan. I wish that episode 2's ending was just not.
It's so fucking random. It's just like treated as like this big reveal. I don't know, like.
I just want it's supposed to be a cliffhanger, I think, because I sat there like, man, I got blue balled. Like, I want more of this. Like, are you kidding me? But it is what it is.
I thought we were gonna get an ending like we did in episode 1, which I'm like, okay, that could be cool for a while to get like each ending of maybe the first half of the episode is like a little glimpse into this side of the story.
I thought that's what was gonna happen.
Instead, we just got this
that first that episode 1 ending. I immediately I had goosebumps. The hairs are standing up. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Holy smokes. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Madison was making fun of me and laughing. I'll point out
chills.
That's exactly it. I'll point out when we get into spoilers a certain moment because Madison was making fun of me like, only you would get excited.
This was Taylor the whole...
Just as sure as a rock is covered in chills already.
And then Madison was like...
Are you fucking kidding me?
I made her watch it. She didn't have a choice.
Yeah, there you go. So, anything else on spoilers?
I think visually it's great. I mean, there's a couple scenes like, okay, I can see the CGI kind of a little questionable here, but I'd say it holds up pretty nicely.
Hero Made Podcast, we need a Night of Old Republic show. I don't think anyone here disagrees, sir, ma'am, or they. I think that's what we all want, and that's what I'm hoping this does well. There was a rumor 2 weeks ago from a C-tier scoop that said like, oh, they're doing a show of it, but that's something I won't believe it like this till it's on Disney Plus, because like
it's supposed to be a video game too.
Yeah, we're supposed to get a video game. Like, how long did it take to get Obi-Wan? But I'm hoping that will happen, and just need Kira. Well, we might talk about Kira because the showrunner's been doing that. So, but yeah, I think we're that's why I hope this show. I hope it does well, because I just feel like if there's Star Wars fans that don't want to do well, even if you don't like this one, I feel like if people just give up on Star Wars, it just kneecaps that. And I guess maybe that's the world they want, is they just want a world of no more Star Wars. But then, as I said before, just watch the George Lucas stuff. If that's really what you like, just watch those 6. Like, no one is forcing you. To me, it's like with midichlorians, I'm stuck with midichlorians because that's George. He created Star Wars and he decided this is part of it. I still like some of those movies, and I can take them as canon. But if you really want, you can say, hey, George didn't fucking write those new trilogy movies. Those don't count. Like, you can do whatever you want in your mind to make it work. If other people are enjoying it, let them enjoy it. So
They brought that back,
what?
midichlorians.
Oh, in the Bad Batch, I heard.
Yeah,
that doesn't
it's
sell
M
me
count.
to catch
It's
up on that
M
show.
count now. So
Yeah, I don't want to hear any sort of counts and stuff. I just pass out when that happens. But yes, we'll get into spoilers. So if you've not seen the episode, bow it now and come out later. If you have, buckle up, because we will go deep into it. So we'll be right back. And we're back. Sorry, Joseph Ricci's comment was, "What is an acolyte?" threw me off. I did get I did search the definition of it today, because we are in full spoilers now. So just, fair warning. Just because at the end of episode 1, the villain, I'm just gonna say the Sith Lord, as of right now, says that, like, what an acolyte means. I'm like, I don't know if that's the definition of an acolyte. Is a person assisting the celebrant in a religious service or procession, sorry. And it's also just an assistant or follower. So that's really what it is. And that's what our main, I guess, antagonist is right now. So we start with the opening scene of Carrie Moss. Great to see you. Good to have a cup of tea in Star Wars, which I'm actually fine with. Like, I like if it's a big mystery. The Jedi that gets killed is played by like a more well-known actress, so I like that. But yeah, she's just chilling, hanging out with a questionable group of people, but still she's chilling. Maybe she likes to fuck these guys on a Sunday, so whatever. And then oh god, what's her name? Is it she's
Osha.
May, right? She's May.
She's Osha. Her
She's Osha,
evil
and then our
sister is May, and then
that's what I
Indara
meant.
Is the
You're confusing me. Who's the evil one?
May.
That's what I said originally, So, anyways, so May, which I kind of appreciate this, and this is where I said, like, it's a different type of Star Wars. She walks up and says, "I want to fight you." And Carrie Moss like, "Nah, like, go away. I'm getting my drink on." Like, "No, you have to attack me." So almost wants this type of like ritual to start the fight and go, and then eventually, which is kind of smart, where May just starts kind of fucking up civilians and like threatening people's lives and everything. And we get this fight scene here, and it ends in her death. But what do you guys think about this opening? I enjoyed it. For the most part, I think there was good intrigue there of when the face comes down and the tattoo. I like that the fight progressed and then she went for the lightsaber. And I think there might be some cheese to it, but I still even like that she threatened the innocent person's life. And maybe that Jedi could have popped off a little bit more, but maybe she just wasn't really thinking this character was going to kill her. It's like, I don't know. I was fine with her trying to save someone, and that causes her death, because I think that's a good way for a hero to go out,
No, I love that moment. I mean, it's basically what was shown to us of the action, like in the trailer, right? That same scene, just a little bit more extended here. Carrie Ann Moss, is that her name, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So I just found it funny. Obviously, I was looking forward to seeing her in this because I loved her from The Matrix. She filmed a movie here in our hometown of Kelowna, so that's a big deal.
Did she?
She did. She did a zombie movie.
Really?
I'll find it maybe later. We'll see if you're lucky. But no, I was looking forward to that moment, that scene, and I was very much surprised that she was the one to bite it, just because she is like the biggest character on the poster, which I found hilarious in hindsight that she's just in the one episode. But like you said, it's a good way to kind of mask who's gonna die. But I thought the action overall was really great there. I love that moment actually when she does get the best of her, like May does, by basically getting her focus on the civilian. Like, it just seems like such a bad guy thing to do, and like, this is supposed to be our dark user that's going through all these, like, using the Jedi's weakness against them. Like, I feel like that's what really separates the Jedi, that are just so noble and about their codes.
Their weakness,
whereas,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Whereas it's all about strength, like it's all about power. Like when it comes to the dark side. So I love that moment that was shown. I agree. I think Carrie Ann Moss could have really really stepped it up. Like she seemed like a bit of a Padawan getting dismantled by this lady with the daggers. I don't know. Maybe this is just my naivete when it comes to this era of the universe, but it just seems like, I don't know if the Jedi just don't, like they just don't think that she could like get the best of her, but she did know that she was a Force user. So I don't know. It seemed like she was pretty confident.
I took it more
think
as because she probably thought it was her sister, right? What's her name again?
you thought she was Osha.
Osha. I think when she's thinking it's Osha, at least that's what I took, that she didn't think Osha was gonna actually would kill her. So that's the way I took it as like, I know she's saying that, but I don't know. Maybe we'll reveal later on that Carrie Moss did just know this was the bad twin or whatever. Right?
I thought she knew who it was once she saw like the birthmark or tattoo, whatever it is that she has, because that's something that May has that Osha doesn't. Like that's true. How they separate the two. So I don't know, but overall, I thought that was a really great scene. I don't know. I did like the moment actually when May doesn't just execute the barkeep, even though like she sees, that's a sign of weakness in the eyes of the dark side user. So I was curious where that was kind of go, which we have yet to kind of see that part. But right then and there, it's like, oh yeah, she's not fully evil, clearly.
So I was gonna bring up before Taylor goes. Was that one of the things you were talking about, non-spoilers, as far as things we've seen before, and we're going down a certain path as we always have?
I think it's mostly like the twin aspect and how the show is about the Acolyte, but it's really just about Osha and like getting her sister back, and it's gonna be just like a purely, and maybe I'm just being cynical right now, but it just seems like it's gonna be like a purely light side like story overall. Like we're gonna be redeemed, and
yes,
maybe I'm getting my predictions in a avenue that I could be surprised, and I'm actually really impressed that they do go darker. But I don't know. I think May is probably working with Sketchy Magoo with the mask and the red lightsaber that we see.
Darth Sketchy Magoo.
Yeah, sorry, Darth Sketchy Magoo. But I don't know. It just, for what I'm shown right now, and maybe I'm just like bringing in some sort of story that I've seen before, that this is kind of reminding me of it, where
Kylo Ren, Reva,
expecting us to go that avenue exactly. And I don't know. I just don't know if they have the cojones to really tell that dark side story. And I hope I'm totally surprised, because that would definitely result in some hype excitement.
Yeah, even in Ahsoka, like, it didn't full happen, but they kind of made the Sith user do a few like nice things. So yeah, I don't want that. But the second she saw her sister and had that moment of pause, I'm like, oh, here we go. We're gonna get this redemption, and who knows? Maybe that will be the thing. But I've done this so many times with Star Wars Disney era, where it's like, oh, they're just hinting at this, and maybe they're gonna make the turn, and they love that. Technically, the show is called The Acolyte, and that doesn't imply, like we imply, because they things it's said and it looks red, but we imply it has to be all bad. But technically, if it's about May and she is the Acolyte, then like they're doing their job, right? Like that is the show. It's just that I don't know how much. I guess I'm very curious of when we get more of the Sith Master or Sith Lord or whatever he's going to be, right? Because I feel like you're going to have to dive into some things, and we didn't really get much from these two episodes to reveal like which route we're going to go with this character, right? So I hope there's some episode, and I hope it's not just like a season 2 thing. I hope there's one episode where we get even just, I would just love it. They already have a kid actress, so I'm really hoping there's an episode that would be just centered on May and her as a little girl surviving, her meeting this dark figure, and then how does that go? Because I feel like that's where you could get some good, really dark side stuff if you're seeing May grow up with this person.
I think you're gonna get it, and I say this because we've seen in the trailer there's shots of Carrie Moss and Master Soul and the Wookiee. So then they were all in their robes together, and this is at the village. So, and
I also think because for some reason the guy that she killed in episode 2, they like put a button. They like gave him like a receding hairline. They gave him a bunch of old age makeup. That to me seems like he's gonna look younger in the flashback, because he did not look that age. At first I thought it was Jake Lloyd. I was like, oh my god, they're pulling Ahmed Best. They got him to, because if you look at that Jedi Master, it looks like it could be him with some makeup, but it's not. So yeah, you could be right there, and I would very much like a full, even half an episode of that. And then Superman Mike is saying that the showrunner compared the story to Frozen, so I'm guessing May gets the Elsa arc, which I guess, but like Elsa didn't like fucking like kill a bunch, like Elsa never killed anybody in those movies, right? So I get what she's saying, but yeah, I think she'll, I guess, come back and or die. I don't know. I sure hope the next time we get a dark side user in one of these shows that we're not going to turn them good, because it just seems to be that's I'm not against redemption, but it just seems to be a very big thing in Disney that we just can have a full Sith that's like our big antagonist. It always has to be something happens. But Taylor, how are you on the opening scene here?
I was not expecting our Jedi Master to die like this,
nope.
but I thought it was great. I loved it. And there's a part in the High Republic novels where you see your boy Marshon Ro basically. Do you remember the name of the Jedi Master who he was holding hostage?
Was it Sedula, I think, or Sedul? Like he was the.
You're on the right track.
Master Greystorm.
Loden Greystorm.
Loden
Greystorm. Yeah,
Greystorm,
that's the one.
yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, thank you.
Poor guy. Kirkland, this guy's held in captivity for like maybe a year. He gets rescued, and that's at, like the first night he gets out of the jail cell, he gets fucking killed.
Like just Theon Greyjoy in there.
Oh,
and then-
really? Like such a terrible life. Sorry to spoil some stuff for people, but like terrible life for this Jedi Master in the High Republic era.
It's the way he's tortured too, and that's what this show. It just reminds me of it in some slight degree, because the way he's tortured is he's put in a cell and he just has to sit there and see other people being tortured, and he can't do anything to help them. And that's what's torturing him, is his inability to help them. And so when you see this Jedi Master here, and she sacrifices her life to like stop the throwing knife in front of that guy's face, and she's just trying to save everyone. It just was making me think, okay, this is that weakness. And they even talk about it in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show with the Grand Inquisitors, just like, it's like an itch, they can't help it. Like you got to help people, right? So the Jedi, it's the Jedi way. So I thought it was great. I really, really appreciated it, enjoyed it. And I'm trying to figure out, like Master Soul says, why are you fighting me without a weapon? And we've seen multiple times she's going for their lightsaber, but she doesn't take the lightsaber after she kills them. So
yeah. And it's odd that the first move she like throws a knife at Master Soul, and he's like, you won't fight me with a weapon? But it's like, she just tried, man. Like, it's.
But I'm wondering if she's not technically allowed to be using those, because we learned too she's not supposed to be using the poison. So how she's supposed to kill them, I don't know.
I guess maybe with the lightsaber. I do really enjoy Jedi or just some Force user using these weapons like this. It's cool to see that it's not a lightsaber.
Like the blades?
The little daggers.
Yeah,
I like that. Her
100%.
throwing them around. Taylor's wishing some Assassin's Creed game
Yeah.
place in Star Wars. You know,
her whole aesthetic is badass. I love her hair with the outfit too.
Yeah.
Like it just looks so badass. She looks like a dark side assassin would. Maybe less glowing weapons, but like you said, I do like the usage of just these throwing knives. It's something different, but I like the incorporation of Force with it to kind of really amplify the weaponry.
Yeah,
So-
and that's another thing I just love seeing multiple Force users when they do that fight. Just stuff when she's kicking the table, when she does like a jump around like a pole, like it's a wooden pole, and you can tell like the Force movements. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I love you got multiple characters popping off with that. So I'm excited to see what else she can do.
So this might be a stretch, but it's the only kind of explanation I have for
Palpatine's
this.
mother.
I really got into like the Vader comics, and so when Vader first became Vader, he tracked down a Jedi Master. He had to kill the Jedi Master and take that Master's lightsaber, and then made it his own lightsaber, because he had to take a kyber crystal, make it bleed. But this is him doing it without his own saber and all that stuff yet. So I'm wondering maybe.
But again,
like,
she didn't take Carrie Ann Moss's lightsaber, so
Yeah, that's true.
and I don't think she took the other guy's lightsaber. So
No, she didn't.
I really don't know. Or
But
and
I
maybe
think it'll
that
be
could-
revealed, because it's
Yeah.
a lot of emphasis on her trying to grab it, and they haven't answered that question
That's
yet. I think
true.
they're gonna definitely get that clear.
And
maybe
it's
maybe she feels she has to get it in battle, so like taking off a dead body's not.
Well, that's the
worthy,
other.
you know?
That's the other part of it too,
There's
because
no
she keeps
Grievous.
going like, "Attack me with all your strength," right?
Yes.
So
Another
whatever
collection.
whatever the reason is, she wants them to just basically
Yeah.
come at her with everything they got.
Yeah.
I love
Which
that
makes-
fight pose she does too. Fight
Yeah.
with all your strength.
I'm gonna
It's
do
like,
that
fuck,
next time I go to the bus
let's go.
stop. I'm just gonna do that. Fight me with all your strength.
with your mask on.
yeah, and get
Throw a
those
knife at
shreds.
someone's foot. Get arrested.
Yeah, and like to touch on two things with these Jedi Masters, that's what I'm liking, because this happens all the time, and we'll have to see what happens in the show. But the idea that the Jedi, just because they are trying to keep the balance, they aren't all good. She drops that one little line when the Jedi's like, "Oh, we can't, attack you without a weapon," and then May says, "Well, we both know that's not true," and you're like, "Oh, geez." And then you have the second Jedi pretty much just kill himself because like he's like exiled himself into something. Like literally what happened to him here is what I wanted them to do with Kylo Ren. Instead of killing him, it's just him go somewhere and just sit, and that'd be great. Like, oh, we need you back. But I like that he willingly was like, oh, I've been waiting for you, and I've been trying to like rectify, you know, certain inequities and stuff. But I like that it's like she throws that line at her saying, no, you guys have done some shady stuff. And this Jedi is fully admitting like, yeah, whatever happened on that village, which we'll find out, we fucked up. And that happens all the time with Jedi in comics, video games, movies. They're not all just 100% purely good all the time. Or even if they do, they've made mistakes. So I like already we're getting that kind of gray area of, okay, what did happen on that village? And even Master Soul seems very... You know, she's like, oh, I forgave you, but he's like, oh, I didn't really forgive myself. So it's like, yeah, what did happen there? So that's another like mini mystery happening, which I enjoy having. So, so and then that happens, and then we meet. I'm gonna always. What the fuck is her name? The other sister, or
the good one?
May.
Good one.
Oh, the good one.
Good one is Osha.
Osha. I'll try to remember that. Maybe we'll talk about it now.
Occupational Health and Safety.
No, I'm not gonna remember that.
Yeah.
Osha is working on a ship. She's just some sort of like mechanic. Cool. We meet her.
Mech.
Cool.
She's a
I'm gonna say
mechanic,
mechanic.
bro. Come on.
I'm trying
Is
to
that
remember
like a
Osha,
race
not
or something,
mechanic.
or a faction.
No,
Because
no,
they
no.
said, like you're a mechanic.
It's a profession, right? Because you're supposed to use R2 units to be working on exteriors of ships, which this is super fucking cool. It's the Republic has certain laws against it, and so they have mechnics who go out there and they do it because they can do it better than droids, right? Like they're
love
more
that.
flexible. That's fucking
See,
cool.
that's a great like world building thing that they've
Yeah.
added to this. Yeah.
Even when she said she was flexible, I was like, there's some sass on that line. You know,
She was giving him some eyes. That was yours, right? The shirtless guy.
Oh, and that's one thing I was gonna say. So far, just even though with 2 episodes, again, the why I'm a fan of this actress, I feel like you can feel a difference between the 2 characters, which it's not a brother sister of different actors. It's literally she is playing she's not playing the same person. It's the same person playing 2 roles, which many people have done before and done it well, but we've also seen it go very terribly. So I love that May feels like a much more forceful, on a mission, no shit's given. And just even her look and stance, she just looks different, where even with, Osha, right?
Yeah, the good one.
Yeah.
Osha.
She just like just in her interactions with people, just feel like that's not the way May would interact. So already I think we're off to a really good start there. So
and like when she wakes up from after May assassinates Indara.
Yeah.
I hope that's her name.
You're right.
Yeah, like she wakes up and like right away it did seem like a completely different character, and honestly, I think it's just been I think I just kind of forgot there was gonna be a twin element. I'm like, we're going like fucking Malignant here. We're getting like some weird like she keeps like tripping out and then she's like switching personalities. I thought we were gonna go there for a moment because when she has like that dream sequence and she's chasing like the small version and she's like, it's like what's the line? It's like I forget what it is. I'm gonna have to paraphrase.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
like
like one of you is
2
me and
is
me is
1.
you.
One-
Yeah,
yeah, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh my god, what is going on here? But we didn't
I'm
quite go
adopted.
there. I thought we were getting some Gabriel inclusion here.
Fuck,
but
get him
which,
in Star.
You know,
Get Gabriel
I'm
with a
all
light.
for a Star Wars. Malignant. Let's do
Imagine
it.
the guy takes off his mask. It's fucking Gabriel under there. Hell yeah! Like
Throws
imagine.
a chair at her like from behind.
Remember that jail scene? Imagine Gabriel with a fucking red lightsaber.
Oh,
He's
man.
gonna go to town. Him and Darth Maul's gonna be the best fight ever. Think about the way he moves. God damn. You
could do
guys
like a-
all
like a-
failed Gabriel, you know? It should be $1 billion movie, so we got so many sequels, but no. We don't.
I feel like Gabriel could do like a Grievous thing too with all 4
Oh,
limbs.
absolutely. Yeah.
But no, getting back to the show. Yeah, I forget you said her name like multiple times here, but I completely forget it already. It's
Osha?
Amandla? Whatever
Amandla Steinberg.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I
Yeah.
think she's really great in the role, and I mean, just echo everything that you said on the performance of doing, like not just 2 different characters, but like the exact same character, dressed the same, looks
Yes.
the same, but how can you still make that feel different? And she's definitely pulled that off because I can really feel if it's May or Osha on screen, even if I don't see like the tattoo, birthmark, whatever she has on her face there. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And then, so that happens. We meet her. They come to arrest her. How, let me get this character's name here. How are you guys feeling about Jord Fondar? We meet him with his apprentice. His apprentice, which I like, is very by the book, very stern, which is like, that feels like a High Republic thing to him. I'm not sure if you felt those vibes, but the way she was interrogating her. Like,
Was that his apprentice?
That was his Padawan.
It's Padawan.
Was it? Was
Yeah.
it
Well,
Padawan?
no,
I
I
didn't
think
even get. I didn't get that sense. I just felt
He's
like
a
he
knight.
was
Well,
like.
he's
I
2
also
years
a
in-
knight.
He introduced himself. He's like, I am Jedi Knight Yord, and this is my
Yeah.
Padawan. That's
Yeah,
what
I thought he said
Oh,
Padawan.
he said that. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and to me, that Padawan just being so goal focused, not really caring. Like, oh, this fits well. I'm of two minds on him because I'm not enjoying him that much, but I don't also know if that is the point. Because again, talking about Qui-Gon, there's times where he reminds me in Phantom Menace, Obi-Wan is also really annoying and kind of a bitch, right? So that's where for me, there's times where he's like that, and if they're trying to go for that almost in a way where you're annoyed, I think they're doing that well. So for me, the jury's out on this character. I have to see if like, is this a purposeful thing? Because they're even at the beginning, Daphne Keen's character at that mission says like, oh, like you had to pick Yord Fondar or whatever his name is. So it's like they already were like I kind of think inferring like, yeah, you're not gonna like this character. So I'll wait and see. Like I said, the whole joke about them walking on half naked, I was like, I don't know if we need this. Like it's weird. Like I don't even know what it was there for. It was just a beat that I was like, you could skip over this. But so I am mixed on him. But yeah, him and his apprentice pick her up, put her in jail. Found it very odd that this woman that killed a Jedi, that no one escorted her, because even later on he's like, I apologize, I should have escorted her to the prison. It's like this, like it's very, they treat it as very rare that a Jedi's getting killed, and they talk about later on, this is could be really bad for us, a Jedi killed by a former Jedi, we gotta nip this in the bud. So the fact that they just let her alone with two other criminals to ship, I thought that was kind of a easy lackadaisical decision. But yeah, what are you guys thinking about the setup here with Lord Fondar or Yord Fondar? And it's a weird name, but
Lord Farquaad.
anything in this sequence.
I like him for the role that he's in. I feel like he looks, he's got the Jedi look for sure, and I also just kind of like the way that he carries himself for like representing just like that Jedi Knight, especially if he's 2 years in, like he's got some experience under his belt, but he's not like a master by any means. So I kind of, I don't know, I am liking it. I feel like when we lean more on the side of like him being a bit of a comedic character, I don't like it as much. So I see where you're coming from with the shirtless scene, mostly just the reaction, but I don't know, I thought it was okay for what it was. It's not like he's slapsticking every 5 minutes every time he's on screen.
And he's not like the main character, like he's not taking over, right? Like he's just another side character as of right now. So
yeah, I think I was maybe because he had history with OSHA and probably May, I would imagine, in the past. I was wanting maybe more from their scenes, or just more between the two of them. It didn't seem
maybe
like
it'll
it quite got
come.
there, but
It
maybe
could
it'll come. Yeah.
And I don't think he had any experience with May though, because I feel like,
well, he knew of her, right? Because he, like, when Soul was saying that it could have been May, he's like, you really think that she's still alive? Like, he obviously knew about that, but he probably just has dealings with OSHA because of the Jedi training.
Yeah, that's what I think he knows of her, but I don't know if they had any experience or anything together. But I do hope that is something more we get pressed on, like what was their relationship, because I like that she was very jokey with him, and she like punched him on the shoulder, and he was not offended, but very much like like I'm a Jedi, like
capital of Thailand, just like nut shot him or something.
Yeah, like it felt like this is she's the college dropout, and he's the guy who's been a lawyer for 2 years. Like I can't talk like that anymore. Like I can't.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing, because we talk about that all the time, Taylor, and like fucking Avar Chris and Avar and who Elzar and
names are
Azar,
awesome.
right? Yeah,
His names
Elzar
are
and
awesome.
Azar. There's this
Alzar, man.
Yeah, there's this kind of thing that happened. These two Padawans were maybe fooling around when they were Padawans, and then when they're masters, the guy's still very much wanting to like, yeah, and she's like, no, like we're proper and stuff like that. I still haven't finished the new book yet, too, so I have to.
like
It's good.
Yeah,
it's
so
good.
I'm gonna soon. I have to. But that's not the vibe I got here, but I got the vibe more in a friendly way, where she's talking like they're still almost like kids, and he's like, well, I'm kind of past that, but then he's still kind of goofy. So I hope there is more to that relationship as we continue.
So like maybe there is, Clone Wars, whatever, Bad Batch stuff. I have no idea. I haven't seen any of those shows, but like it is kind of cool to see some of that dynamic of them past in the academy. It's just something that I haven't really experienced on my own. So yeah, I liked all those moments. With the Padawan, I thought, I agree with what you're saying. I like how she was really much by the book, because she's like just doing it, like she's in the training for it, right? Like she is Padawaning under this chap here. I feel like I haven't really seen that species before of what she
Yeah.
was too. That was kind of cool.
That's
to see.
definitely a new species.
Yeah,
Which
okay.
again, between her and Daphne and Keen, I like that we're getting main characters that are aliens, not just Wookiees. You know, like I like seeing a variation, and even Daphne and Keen, she's only in it a little bit so far, but I like that she's kind of a bit more of a Spitfire, kind of no fucks given so far. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see her more, and I hope that there's these three. We got May, OSHA, and then I can't remember. Tid, do you remember the bald green alien? She's from the High Republic era. I can't remember her name.
That was the character I was gonna mention because we're seeing like Daphne Keen's character, really cool design and everything, great makeup, and I just laughed when you have this green, like it's just the Hulk or something with like a cheap cosplay. It I don't know, it just seemed like so
A little lesser than
D tier compared
Yeah,
to like the detail.
that's
It's just like a green thumb.
Yeah.
No disrespect to the makeup artist or anything, but I mean you said it's in the High Republic or
Yeah, when we
whatever
meet
it
her
was,
in the
so.
High Republic, she's like more like a little girl and stuff. So this is her growing
That's
up.
the young adult novels, but we haven't covered those though.
No,
But
so yeah, I know she's-
Vernestra. is
Yeah,
her name.
Vanestra. Yeah, and she has a very controversial lightsaber, which I don't like, but that's okay. I,
Is it?
It's
flaccid.
It's been in Star Wars
What is
before.
flaccid? Doesn't
So, I mean,
matter. That's like being
It's
like
flaccid. What are you
We've
talking
seen it
about?
in games and whatnot, so I don't know what
that
people
doesn't
are freaked
matter.
out
That'd be
about.
like if I slept with someone and I got herpes, and they're like, "Well, other people got herpes." Like that doesn't mean
very different thing.
No,
very,
but you're
herpes compared to a
I don't know why you
lightsaber
get
is
mad at
very
me.
different.
Everybody got herpes.
I hate that example because that was a big debate, right? Where people said this lightsaber is lame and stupid, and I agree. Kirkland, it's a whip. It's a whip lightsaber.
Oh, it is. Okay, the flaccid.
That's I said. It's flaccid. Not a fan of that. So then, but people's arguments was like, well, this was back in Legends. Doesn't make it good. It's like the same way of like when books adapt movies and they go, oh, well, that's how it happened in the book. Well, then it fucking sucks in the book too. Like
I will say it's not my justification. Like, oh, they've already been doing it for years.
that's what
But I
you did.
will.
You're like,
but
it's been around.
well, I will say it has been around, so it's not new. So
I know.
there's
Yeah,
that,
it's
but-
new to live action stuff though, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, it's definitely unique, and I mean,
Not a fan. Not a fan for me.
and that's fair. Like, I'm not. You got different types of lightsabers, and this is just another.
But they're all solid. They're all solid. And you know me too. I don't even in the dark era. I don't like the Inquisitors like roly.
Those ones I'm not a fan of. Flying
No.
away with the helicopter
No,
sabers.
no.
I'm not a big fan of that.
I just like it's straight, and then you do different things. You had cross blades, you had a double braid, even Dooku's. Like you want to have it torqued, that's okay.
Oh,
but when it
yeah.
starts like spinning
Torque
around,
handle.
like at least with what the fuck is his name, Grievous? It's like, well, they're not. The lightsaber's not spinning. It's just his hands are spinning. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. But we'll get there when she busts it.
Maybe
up.
it's her arm that's actually just whipping.
Fuck. Oh, but what I was gonna
I wanna
say
see
before.
what Gabriel gets as a lightsaber.
Oh,
in that
he would be
movie.
swinging all over with those. Yeah. Before we get too far, my point was with these characters. I hope this is the amount of main characters we have for an 8-episode show that's going to be around 40 to 35 minutes. I hope they don't also get that villain, but I don't want them to introduce any more. Like I'm kind of good with the 5 good guys because I think that we'll get into it. But I think that Wookiee is going to, I think, die. I imagine.
There's a high chance he dies.
Yeah, so that's why I'm kind of like I'm fine with the 5 good characters, and then we got OSHA and the main. Like I think that's the right amount. So I hope this is kind of our crew because I like when she's like, "Oh, you're putting together a team." I appreciate that was only 3 people. I was like, "Oh fuck, we're gonna get like 5 or 6 Jedi's here. We're not gonna have enough time to meet them all. Some are cannon fodder." I like that's just a team of 3 that were on the mission. I liked that numbered, and I like their pairings together so far. And also, I guess we didn't mention it all, but like I just really liked Master Soul's setup of it's him in the class talking to people. That one kid has to fucking worry about. That's gonna be an Anakin kid. That fucking I see fire, it burns and it hurts. Like look out for that kid. At first, I thought that was a flashback to OSHA. I thought that was because the same ethnicity it looked like talking about fire. She's the thing with fire. I'm not sure she was just having a vision about what Master Soul was going to go on because that happens too, right? Like even in the
I see
prequels.
a man named Palpatine. And
Well, no, but sometimes like Yoda had the one kid that right. It was like, oh, it's something like this. So I like that introduction as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna backtrack a bit here. So when OSHA was introduced, yeah, she was in Macnac, and we got Yord coming in there. I really liked Yord. He just he's giving me Bell Zettifar vibes for some reason. I'd still put
Absolutely.
Bell over him.
Yes.
But I'm just really jiving with him.
Master. Yeah.
the whole setup here where we get to see what OSHA's up to. Fuck, the Trade Federation ships with the Nemoidians. I was like, oh, this is so good. I'm really, really loving this. This is fantastic. That's what Madison's making fun of me because I was like, oh, Nemoidians, and Madison's like, oh, what the fuck?
You're never touching me again. You better not have one of those posters in your room, do you?
Big Nemoidian poster in here.
Yeah.
But that was just so
I
cool.
hope it's like a painting of what Taylor would look like as that race. You know, that's what I want. You know,
That's fucked up. So really, really cool setup here. Yeah, and I guess Yord's Padawan, cool. I love the directness of her approach.
Yeah.
That was neat. And
didn't get to come on the mission though. She had to sit back.
no. Yord's like, no, you're not coming along for this one. You're staying behind. So
Yeah.
I think Master Soul coming together here, getting the team put together. Our characters so far, I like, as I alluded to in the non-spoilers, each one has a very unique personality and mindset to them that makes them just unique characters. And I think this is great because you have Master Soul, who you said, Travis, is just kind of like a reverse Qui-Gon, but like still humble in that regard.
Yeah.
You have his Padawan, who is very much... it's funny because like she catches herself and she asks for permission, but she's very, I think, forward and direct, and that might bite her in the butt a little bit here because I'm curious to see how many of these Jedi are gonna get fucked up when we go to fight the Master. I mean, is he just gonna annihilate all of them? Because I have a sneaking suspicion that most of them are gonna die to keep this secret. And I think too, when you get to, well, I'll say that after. First, I'll continue on with Yord. He's very much he not fearful, but he is someone who is probably very, I'd say, tense and thinking a lot. He's overthinking.
Because Master Soul did say like, don't
there
let
is
your fears guide you, right? Because he was just
Absolutely.
like, what if it's this? What if it's that? What is that? So I think he's he's very cautious, overly cautious.
Overly cautious.
Yeah.
That's the perfect
he's not,
word for
he's
it.
Not
Yeah.
He's a guy that I feel like is very by the book, and he's not a guy that like the force is flowing through him. You know, I don't think he's that. I don't
He's
think
a little backed up, a little force constipated.
Like I think he's the guy that's like great at like the striking and like he's very trained up that way. But as far as like someone sitting down and just feeling everything around them, I don't think he's mastered that yet. Which I want to say before I forget, I really appreciated that they had OSHA try to use the force. They killed the music, few sounds, and it didn't work. And I really enjoyed that it wasn't just a pick up and go. I'm sure it will happen, but I like that they almost faked you out of like, oh, she's gonna do it, and like, no, she's rusty, she can't do it. So I enjoyed that moment right there.
She gives me Cal Kestis vibes.
Yeah, a little. I could see, especially because he kind of had like a tech job too and everything. So I could see what you're putting down there.
Would he be considered a mechanic?
No.
Or is that
just
he was just another tech or something.
Just a tech guy, yeah. Now we got at the very beginning of the episode of episode 1, we got like the interesting kind of like dialogue that popped in. They did it with Ahsoka as well. I like that. It's not an opening crawl, but it feels unique to their Star Wars shows they're doing, and I'm really enjoying that. So with the dialogue that or the text that they threw up in there, they were talking about how, again, 100 years, yada yada yada. But they didn't say Sith, but they just alluded to this dark figure kind of coming out, and not just one of them, but it almost was kind of ambiguous in the sense that maybe there's multiple ones, but this one chose to kind of come out a little bit and make a move, make a play against the Jedi here by using the Acolyte, which I liked, and it makes me wonder, okay, how many of these are out there? Now, Sith is a very bold word, and I think the Jedi are probably not... They're not shocked to come across Force users that are grown-ups. I mean, we've seen in Star Wars before that there are Force users who they maybe... I think it was even in the Darth Plagueis book, Kirkland, if you can remind me if I'm wrong here, but Plagueis detected that there was a guy using the Force to win at gambling.
Yeah, he was gambling.
Remember that?
That's right.
Yeah.
And
so
even Maz Kanata has the
and Maz
Force,
Kanata,
you know?
yeah, that's exactly it. So there's characters that never became Jedi, never became Sith, whatever, but they use the Force. And so I'm in this sense, I feel like, okay, the Jedi, Master Nara is like, oh, we got a unknown Force user here.
Yeah.
So
I like that he wasn't like, who's the Sith that trained you? Like it wasn't like a jump to that. Like I think I think they should talk about the dark side, because we've seen that scene, right? Of they're in the woods, and I feel like that could happen next week, because where that Wookiee looked like very wooded area, so I feel like that could happen then. I feel like that's the second you see a red lightsaber and a Sith pop off. That's when you have the conversations of like, hey, like this kind of is similar to something that's happened. And something I will give the show credit when they said, hey, we want to keep a Jedi killing a Jedi on the down low, which I actually appreciate, because I didn't really think of it. I'm like, yeah, that would be kind of like, people have a lot of fucking questions about that going on, right? So I do think there is a route where this stuff could happen and they do just lie about it, which I'm fine with it, because they're already trying to lie just about their own Jedi dying. So they bump into a Sith. I don't think they're just going to run back and say, hey, whoever the Chancellor is right now, the Sith are back and this is going on. So I think they won't even think about Sith until they see that, like,
And that's where I think that information could easily just fade with them. Like if this guy who's just been so good at hiding, the Master, pops out, he loses his acolyte, which I feel like is going to be the case. So that's why he comes out
by
and he
choice
just
or
needs
death?
to. I can't say at this point. Probably, I feel like at this point everyone could just die. Everyone is at risk of dying, because we're in the prequels here, and I mean they'll keep a select few alive.
But
they'll keep a select few alive for the next season or something like that. But
who would kill May, in your opinion, then?
the Master, I feel like he
Lord
would.
Soul, or the guy.
I just love that, like, he's gonna come out because he's gonna lose. He's gonna lose his acolyte. How does he lose his acolyte?
But
He
think
fucking
about it.
kills him.
But think about it like end of spoilers if you haven't played Fallen Jedi Fallen Order. Remember when the sister with the Inquisitor just like speaks to her master? I'm paraphrasing, of course, but like
Yeah.
I'm sorry, whatever, or run. And Darth Vader approaches behind her and just fucking like, you failed me, apprentice, or failed me, Inquisitor, and just slashes her down. I feel like you could get something similar to that, and where he's just like, you failed me, acolyte, and the fucking Master just cuts her in half or something like that.
Or there could be a situation that maybe for some reason, I don't know why, maybe he thinks Osha's the stronger one, right? And would prefer to have, because if they try and go with, again, it's a lie. We talked about this today in our Discord, the whole rule of two thing. Disney, George broke that. They've all broke that. That's the biggest lie in the world. It's like, I don't know, the free shipping on Amazon. Then when you go, it's like, oh wait, that's not free. You got to pay this, whatever it is. For me, I think that if they want to still try, like, oh, there's only two of them, that could be a situation where maybe he wants Osha instead of May.
Tryouts, the Dark Knight scene.
I think
cool cue.
I think that's got a lot of traction to it. I could see that. That'd be pretty cool. But I will say, to counter it though, and we've talked about this many times, like if you look at a municipal district that has allowed 10 police officers, that's the rule, that's the limit. We only have legislation for 10 police officers, but we can have tons of sheriffs, we can have tons of security guards.
No.
Dozens and dozens of security guards. That's the same thing here.
No,
the title
is a force
the title
user
of
that does
Sith.
bad things. That's a red lightsaber.
That's not
They're
a
all
Sith. That's not a Sith though. No,
that's
Sith
what
is
the
a
Sith
title.
No, that's what the Sith was composed as in the prequels, and then eventually they ruined.
Doesn't
it in the
work
Clone
though,
Wars.
because they had whip lightsabers back then. So I mean, it doesn't matter.
Not when the prequels came out. Okay,
George had some mock-ups. See, it's
George-
Kirkland, what do you think?
George and Dave. No, you guys have already done this to me. I'm not changing my mind. George they had no idea. They had no ideas for the Clone Wars. Like, well, you can't fight Palpatine. You can't have Count Dooku fight everybody. Well, let's have Darth Maul. Let's have a Ventress, but she's an assassin. Like, it's all bullshit stuff for them. Just like, we like red lightsabers, God damn.
Well, again, she's not a Sith, and she's just
she's on her way to be.
She's on her way to becoming something. Whether or not this guy's a Sith, we don't even know. I mean, I'm hoping he is.
He's wearing
I really
a
am.
scary mask with a red lightsaber, and he's black and
But
cloaked.
Kylo
This
Ren wasn't a
motherfucker's
Sith.
He's a Sith.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's a Sith.
No, he's not. He's a Knight
It
of
was already
Ren.
Rule 2. No, don't give me the Knight of Ren. He was Rule 2. It was him and Snoke. And then when Snoke died, it was him and
Snoke
Palpatine.
was definitely not a Sith.
He was.
No,
He
not a
you know how
chance.
he was? Because he's fucking Palpatine. Snoke is
Palpatine was the
He's
Sith.
wearing like a gold robe.
Doesn't matter. Palpatine is Snoke. Alas, equation. Snoke is a Sith. Let's not go down this route, okay?
That's an
Just
interesting
accept you're
debate.
wrong.
That we'll put that in Discord.
They'll answer that later on.
But no, they're all Sith. But yeah, we'll see. I for people that have watched Nip Tuck, watch if you haven't, check out the Carver's voice and the Sith leader's voice. They sound like identical. I wasn't on your guys' trailer breakdown. The voice to me is fine. The mask, I have to wait and see, is like, could be like a little try hard in my opinion. It just like I don't know if I like the teeth yet. It just screams like this is really evil. Like I didn't see me like, oh, that's one I want to own. I felt, but it is a different era, so maybe they just feel like they have to like be overtly evil.
He's
but
not a Sith. That's why Siths don't.
it's a Sith. It's a Sith. This could be fucking Plagueis for all we know, hiding in a mask. So they go, no, but like they can do whatever they want, you know. Maybe it is. So I don't know, and I did like that. That Dr. Soul was like, or Dr. Soul, fuck,
Dr. Soul.
Master Soul even was like, you don't even know the identity of this person, and it just kind of like made out, which I think was kind of good, putting some seeds of doubt into her mind of she probably trusts this. I'm just gonna say Sith Lord for now, but the Sith Lord doesn't trust her enough to probably give her details about himself or herself or show his face, right? So I like that was a good seed of doubt of like, you couldn't even tell me who this person was, even if I read your mind right now, right? Which he was starting to do. So yeah, we'll see with the Sith. I hope it. I think there's lots of that character. There's lots of room for error. That's all I'll say with the Sith Lord. I think there's lots of ways it could come off very lame, very meh, very break can wise. So we'll see what happens. So I'm intrigued. Of course, it's great to have like a Jedi Sith situation going on in the semi prequel era, but I really have to see, and obviously these 2 episodes we only got to see the end when he said like an Acolyte doesn't use blasters or steel, even though again she killed a Jedi with steel in that same episode. So a lot of messaging that doesn't make sense for what she should be doing fighting. I don't know. So we should take an ad break. So let's take an ad break and we'll be right back. And we're back. Where do we want to go now? What have we not touched upon here, or who have we not? Or is that it? We're calling it right there.
Let's just end, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Well, what we talked about we talked about the 2 Jedis being assassinated. We talked about the sisters.
I mean, that's really about it. We talked about the villain. I mean, I can't think of anything else aside from the fact that I'm curious to see where this is going to take us. And when we look at what we've seen in the trailer, I feel like a fair bit has already been revealed. That scene too, where May is walking on the beach and we see the master. I wasn't thinking that was going to be the ending of the first episode, so that caught me off guard. And
I was a little disappointed it wasn't like more than that, because it is such a great shot, and I love that shot in the trailer. I was expecting to like that to be the start of a scene. That's why I was just so like, what? It's over already? Like that's all we get? We literally just get the scene from the trailer, like nothing more to that. So I was a little bit bummed by that, but yeah, I like, it's a beautiful shot. I loved it in the trailer. I loved it here, but maybe just a little bit disappointed I didn't get a close up. I think I was surprised to hear his voice that early in the show, but then when I didn't get anything more, it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We're back to where we were in the trailer, but I am excited to get more dialogue with that and just kind of see where his motivations are at this point in time in the universe, because this is kind of new to me.
Well, at least we said non-spoilers too. At least it was better than episode 2. Just the fucking Wookiee yelling at guys to get away from his hut. Like, what were they doing there? Like, that was a lame.
That was another one. It just seemed like we're gonna get more of a scene. It just like cuts to credit.
I was like, this can't be the ending, is it?
Okay,
And it was. So yeah.
I like how these dark side users they'll just whip their lightsaber out just because he's standing not even facing May on the rocks, and he just turns his lightsaber on. They just
No
love to do
reason
that.
to.
Yeah.
Maul talking to Kira on hologram. Turns
I'm
the
sure
lightsaber
she's
on.
seen it. I'm sure she's like, cool, you have a red lightsaber. Like,
See
when do
that?
I get one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that? Yeah.
My question is, because like I said, I wasn't on that episode. Do you think this character is someone completely new, or do you think
Smell
it
that?
is someone that is tied to something?
I can't answer that because I don't know what's going on in this era.
No, I meant
I'd
even
be
something
shocked
like if you were
it's-
like it was a master of a master that led to like a plague
Yeah.
to a Palpatine. Like, do you
I
think it is
think-
still someone like that, or do you think it's like a Sith that, hey, they tried to uprise a little bit and they just get snuffed out, and then that's it?
I would be truly shocked if it is like one of those big mains that at least I know of, like the, when I'm looking at like the Mount Rushmore of Sith masters. I'm not expecting to see one of those names on
Who
there.
is your Mount
Plagueis.
Rushmore?
Oh, like, yeah,
Paul's
okay.
for on there for sure, right?
Sorry, say it again.
Palpatine's on there for sure. Right?
Oh, Palpatine's got to be on there.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably cheating,
Snoke.
but I would
So
just go
Snoke's on there too.
not Snoke. I'd probably just like go down, like back down the line. Well, I guess Bane,
Revan.
Plagueis.
You got Revan on there.
See, that's the thing. Like, am I including like way back in the Old Republic? 'Cause I feel like the
Anybody.
Sith are kind of a different era in that point.
They're
in
still
time,
Sith,
but
though.
I
They're
guess
Sith
Bane
all
is
around,
old school
you know?
too. Bane's like the big head. You know, I don't know the fucking presidents that are on Mount Rushmore. I apologize, I'm not an American, but
Ooh,
whatever
isn't it
one is like off to the
Lincoln?
left, like on his own,
Yeah.
like that's Bane to me. That's like the main head honcho. Sidious definitely has to be in there. Big
Yeah.
helps. How many people are on there? 4?
4. Oh my god, you don't even know that. Yeah, it's 4.
It just shapes. in
Here's
my
some
mind.
Sith Lords for you. For some reason, they didn't put actual. They put a cosplayer.
Darth Maul and Darth Tyrannus as well. Darth Maul and Darth Tyrannus both have cosplayers.
Oh my god, Darth Treya, is that from
Darth
Knights of the
Treya,
Old
man.
Republic?
Yeah. So this is what's interesting. The because she has a different name. She has a code name, right? She's undercover, right, Taylor? But the creator
Yes.
said that the villain is inspired by Darth Tyra, which that got me fucking Jones. And she did specifically say no try. She did specifically
Kreia.
say it's not her. Yeah, Kreia was her name, and I think it was shouted out in the chat earlier. I think she might be on my Mount Rushmore because, man, it's not even like a
Interesting.
big twist into, but it's just the way she fucks with you. And she's one of the more creepier Sith Lords. And she just has like this aura of like, I don't know if we can fucking kill her. And that's what she does. She's like missing at least one hand. And when she fights you, she raises the lightsabers using the Force. She doesn't wield them. She uses them with the and it's
So
fucking
badass.
she's scary. So like I think for me, Nihilus is pretty fucking cool though, like that mask. So it's
Yeah,
like
he's cool.
It's always Palpatine. It's always Revan. I throw Kira, Tyra on there, Tyria, and
Treya.
then Treya.
Pyrone.
Yeah. And then I don't know. It's like I can see that for Darth Bane. I see it for Darth Nihilus. Taylor and I have a huge soft spot for Darth Sion, but I couldn't put Darth Sion on the Mount Rushmore. He's just like he's just like powerhouse. But I love Darth Sion. Like this is
Is
a
that
guy.
the one that like? Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes.
He just
He's-
won't ever die, right?
Yeah, because I feel like if you talk about how in wounds you're consumed by hate, I feel like there's no one more consumed by hate than this fucking guy. Because look at he should be dead 10 times over, but I would love this in live action, this guy. So, and that's why I'm kind of fine with if she says it's not Kira, because it's like, well, hopefully if we do get them, but this was Tarya's apprentice at the time.
Yeah.
Like Sith, yeah. And he
Okay.
fucking hates her. He can't, and he's always had to kill her. So at first when you think you can trust Kira, you're like, oh, but yeah, I really don't know. The fourth one I'd have to think about because I love
Yeah.
Kylo Ren, but I could never put him as like a Sith master. Like
Not
he's
even a
like,
Sith.
what? No, he's
Not
definitely a Sith. He's more powerful than Vader. But same thing as Vader. I couldn't put Vader on the list. Like I think to me, being a Lord, you still have to have some control. And I think the Skywalker blood, like they're very they're very out there. So I'll go with Darth Bane as the safe choice for my fourth
the right
one.
choice.
Yeah, I know. I'm not as affiliated with him as you are, but
Yeah, no, Darth Bane definitely the big head on there. Darth Plagueis, Darth Sidious.
it's
And
like
then,
for you,
the
Revan. For me,
fourth-
Revan's a no dub, but for
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I don't know. It all depends on your
Well-
Sith Lord, what you grew up with.
No, for sure. Like I feel like Tenebris could be on there. I just
Yep.
because of my experience with him, you kind of see him at the end of his career in the Plagueis novel. Revan is just so great, but you're also like. That's just such a great twist, I think, in the KOTOR.
But he's still
I don't
a great
want to say
Sith
too
Lord.
much if no one's played that game, but
he's
fucking
even
good.
before KOTOR, he's still a great Sith Lord, right? Like he's a powerful. Oh, why am I not?
And just
where's
his like
Malik on
teachings,
there?
and that's something
Yeah.
that's experienced in
Hell yeah.
like in the Darth Bane novels, I believe. Like he
Yeah.
comes across some of Revan's like old Sith
Yeah.
holocrons and just
So that's
like
what I'd say,
his
even before the
teachings of
game,
it. So yeah,
he's
because
up
he
there.
has influence on my favorite Sith Lord.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess he's kind of in there as honorable.
Rocking, and he rocks the red and purple lightsaber. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that's
you know?
sick. Come on,
Let's get Dark Knights of the Republic.
Taylor,
down,
what do you
know?
got for your Mount Rushmore of
Yeah,
Sith
what do
Lords?
you got?
I mean, I'm definitely Darth Sion. He's in there. I'll never forget.
Really, Darth Sion's in your top
your big head?
four.
See
Because
your,
when I growing up, when I was a kid and playing the Knights of the Republic, 2 when you get off that station and then he just pops in there. It's like,
Through
fuck.
the fire and stuff.
Yeah, it's
You're
like, man,
oh my
like I was
God.
just there. Who's this guy? Like, he's terrifying.
Yeah, because you battle
and-
through a bunch of enemies, and he's like the last one. It's like a classic Star Wars thing where like the doors keep closing opening, and he's getting closer. You're like, oh my fucking God! And then it's just this guy that's
terrifying.
burnt to a crisp, has a red lightsaber, and he's like, I love pain, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, he's terrifying.
Yeah.
But very, very, very cool
Fair enough.
character. Yeah, Plagueis is in there for sure. I'd probably say, I mean, Treya's really, really cool too, and that turn really just blew my mind. Because I wasn't thinking she was actually going to be the dark side at all. So I got Scion, Plagueis, Sidious is absolutely in there.
Of course, yeah.
And then, yeah, I'd go Bane. It'd be between Nihilus or Treya.
And you had Revan on there? Did you say?
You did
Or
not.
you didn't
No,
say
I didn't
that?
have Revan. I didn't have
What is
Revan.
going on with the Revan love here? My God, I'm surprised you don't have him on there, Taylor.
Maybe if the game was out, we'd like him more.
Yeah, I need a refresher with this character.
Oh, he's so good. The legends, like that's the whole thing. They're so scared of him coming back, the Jedi. Like they're so.
So is Disney.
So yeah, I'm just
Kathleen.
surprised. I'm surprised you got Scion over Revan because Revan, I just feel like Revan would fucking take Scion to task. You know,
He
like
would.
he's man.
We gotta do like a ranking of these lords and take account their look because Revan's mask is just such a great look.
Oh yeah.
But then you got something like Scion that's like he doesn't need a fucking armor or anything.
No.
He's going commando running at you, crispy dick and all.
Well, he's not commando. No, he still wears pants. You know.
I think
so.
there's some cheeks in that game. We'll see.
Is there anything else specific about this show that we want to talk about before we end this episode?
I don't
Going
think
once,
so.
going
Can't wait for
twice.
episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3 should be fun. I'm excited to talk about it. I'm excited to see where the show goes and see what's going on. We'll be back. So yeah, if you can't watch live, just always whether you can join the Discord, which is down below. If the link's not working, let us know. But YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you're watching the episode, obviously on Apple or whatnot, you can't say any comments. But send any questions or comment or on Patreon, and yeah, we'll talk about them. We'll take all the theories. No spoilers if anybody's like listening to the reviews, whatnot. We don't want those. But yeah, we will be back next week for episode 3 of The Acolyte, and it will not be boring. And